Politicians, academics, and civil society leaders from across the globe came together in Poland over the weekend to discuss transatlantic values and security issues at this year's Wrocław Global Forum. High on the agenda was, quote, the return of geopolitics and the challenge of Russia. A panel discussion on that topic turned on the question of the West's response to what the moderator described as the, quote, crisis in Europe created by Moscow through its support for militants in East Ukraine. Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine John Herbst said there was a good chance that this year the U.S. Congress would, quote, not only authorize but also appropriate money to send arms to Ukraine.
So I think the United States has moved slowly in the right direction, but it's almost where it needs to be. And once the United States is where it needs to be, it will use its traditional influence to move Europe to be where it needs to be. And I think that's all we're missing right now is American leadership to strengthen the alliance, to take the necessary deterrent measures that the other panels have spoken about. And if we do that, and if we arm Ukraine, we will keep Mr. Putin in his box, which is where he definitely needs to be. And if that could lead to changes within Russia, that would be wonderful.
The U.S. and the EU have long been criticized by analysts and politicians for not doing enough to stop the conflict in East Ukraine and deter further Russian aggression in Europe. Back in March, EU chief Jean-Claude Juncker was the first to mention the idea of a European Union army, quote, to convey a clear message to Russia. In Wrocław, European Parliament member Jacek Saryusz-Wolski commented the question of an EU military which would complement NATO in providing defense capabilities to member states.
There are 28 armies, but we are not willing or able to use them, whether under NATO command or EU command. We have the capabilities, but there is an atrophy of political will to use them. In terms of expenditure, in terms of capabilities, we are able to face, but we are paralyzed from within because of the lack of will and lack of decision-making processes.
The Wrocław Global Forum describes itself as a key distributor of ideas and influence both regionally and around the world. But it remains to be seen if any of the comments made during the summit will have an impact on the West's policy towards the conflict in East Ukraine.